Hi, I'm Carla Solis, and today we will be talking about a few ways we could implement change in an organization. To begin with, we need to keep in mind that we live in a world where change is a turbulent force that can make or break an organization. So, to make a smooth transition to change, leaders must keep in mind that change doesn't happen overnight and that they need to treat their employees as individuals that are an important part of their company because they're basically the people who run everything. So, before making any big decisions, there are three key factors that we need to think about. They include creating a vision for the future, and this makes direction, focus, and commitment clear in the work environment. An example that I used was Steve Jobs. He always had a vision of one day the world being composed of every person having a computer, and that's what we live in today. So he kept his vision alive for years and he made his dreams come true, basically. The second factor is developing a model for change. And this includes developing management objectives that target certain groups to increase productivity. And to do this, a leader must have like a clear goal he wants to achieve, and he has to create a group of people that he knows will help him achieve that goal. So he handpicks people, makes a group, and then they work focus on reaching the goal. And by doing that, they increase productivity by only focusing on one thing. The third factor is to reward changes, and this can include an increase in pay, promotions, or extended vacation times, or other things that are non monetary incentives. Other tools that will help us create change smoothly are information, support, and resources. Information is a good tool to use because it can help departments within a company learn things about each other that can in turn help them achieve their own goals. And some companies have open management policies where people can go into meetings and see what's happening with the other departments. Support is another tool that we could use to provide confidence and reassurance in the employees that will give them like the go ahead to continue what they're doing. Sometimes people have great ideas, but they just need support from a leader to keep them going. The third is resources, and every company has different resources. It varies from each company and within each department. The resources include funds, staff, equipment, and materials. So to implement change, I suggested using Kotter's eight stage change model. And the first stage is to ensure the people that there's a need for change. People need to be aware that change needs to come and it needs to be urgent. Leaders need to educate the employees about what's going on and help them understand what they could do to make things better. The second stage is to get the right people involved to lead the change. I use Southwest Airlines as an example because they have good corporate cultures, and they say that our leaders have a genuine love for people, and they don't want people in leadership if they don't love people themselves. The third stage is creating a new strategic vision or identifying a target outcome. And this needs to be specific and measurable so people could know what it is and have a grasp on what their goals are going to be, because sometimes they make new goals or they make changes but they're very vague or they're not stated clearly and people don't understand. So if everything's clear and precise and simple, people are more likely to stay on target. The fourth stage is to make sure that the vision is effectively communicated, like I mentioned. To do this, leaders need to keep all questions answered, and they need to hear all the concerns that employees have, just so everyone can stay on the same boat and they don't have any lingering questions as they continue working. The fifth stage is also like halfway through the process. I guess it's the last stage of the. I believe they called it the first half is preparing for change. So in the last step to prepare for change, they want to empower a broad group of change agents. And this pretty much, they just choose people to encourage risk-taking and non-traditional ideas and actions. So they choose a group of leaders that promote this kind of, I guess, a modern way of thinking, to encourage the employees to bring new ideas to the table and not to be afraid to share them with others. So the second portion of Kotter's stage to change is the sixth stage, and it's to successfully pull off short-term victories. And this includes like small short-term goals, and it also includes rewarding the individuals that made it happen. In the seventh stage is to consolidate the victories and go after more changes. So after the group has already had some victories and achieved some short-term goals, they get what they learned, and then they apply it to make greater goals and to achieve them. The eighth stage is to solidify the change in the organizational culture. And this is also known as like anchoring new approaches and cultures. So just to keep everything solid, like everything that they learn, review it and have them live by it from now on. We also need to think about how organizational change is not complete without the implementation of new corporate culture. And the corporate culture is pretty much like a set of beliefs, values, and ways of behaving that are so common that they just perpetuate themselves. And it begins with the top executives and it trickles down. So people need to really learn, like people in leadership really need to maintain a good image so that their employees could follow them pretty much. It's important to also focus on the employees in corporate culture, because in turn they focus on the customers and doing their job, and if they're happy, the organization is successful. And some of the things that make up corporate culture is member identity, and this is when employees are able to identify with their job and with the organization in general. So they go to work and they know what they're doing, and they're able to fully understand what's going on, and they're able to relate to it personally. They just don't go to work, clock in and clock out, and forget about it in the weekend. Team emphasis, it calls for more production being done with groups of people than just like an individual doing it by itself, or him or herself. People focus happens when management empowers employees to achieve greater success. And Southwest Airlines is also a good example to think about, because they have a university within their company, and it offers professional development trainings, and they offer also like certificates for technical jobs, like within like the aerospace or working with airplanes. Autonomy is when individuals are genuinely encouraged to get better at their job. So they go to work and they want to get better at what they're doing, and they want to continue like education and just improve their certain tasks. Control is how rules, regulations, and direct supervision are used to control the behavior of the employees. And some organizations offer more freedoms than others. Some things that are small but are greatly considered are like dress codes. Some companies offer like casual dress codes, and some other companies require like suit and ties and stuff. So it all varies from company to company. Risk tolerance, it allows employees to take chances on innovative ideas they may have. And some companies offer risk tolerance and are open to learning in general. So they're okay if you take risks and it doesn't work out. they're just happy that you took it and then you gain knowledge from your experience. So keeping a positive corporate culture and happy employees has proven to be a good way to maintain a successful organization, and that cannot be forgotten when undergoing change. So we're going to talk about two environments in change that happen that need to be considered, because companies are different, and different kind of employees have different ways of managing stress whenever they're in different environments. So there's two environments that we're going to talk about, and it's a stable environment and the hyper-turbulent environment. So the stable environment is when change is occurring, but it's happening at a very slow pace, and it's like things are changing slowly. There's like low technological advances, and it's basic products and services. And an example I used was Sprint. They have a new CEO, but he's making a lot of changes, but the company is still selling cell phones and tablets and stuff like that. They're still doing pretty much the same thing, except that now they're having more people switch over from other companies and cutting their rates in half, but they're still doing the same thing that they were before. A company that underwent change in a hyper-turbulent environment was Amazon. Hyper-turbulent environments, they have rapidly changing products. They have more sense of competitors and rapid and continual technological resources. And Amazon is a good candidate for that, because they literally sell everything and they compete with every retailer. They sell baby stuff, they sell hunting gear, so they can compete with Babies R Us or Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods. They compete with everyone. They also have let me see, rapidly changing products. So they're always adding products, they're always adding new things that they sell. And they have rapid and continual technological resources and advancements. Their app was developed not so long ago. It's always being updated, and it's easy, like you shop from your house. Other things that they have technological advances in is the way that their companies are run nowadays. It's robots that are just I guess organizing everything. They divide things, they ship them out by themselves. There's in some companies it's just everything is done technologically, and in others there's a few people working. But the greatest technological advance that they announced recently is Amazon Prime Air, and this will occur in the future. They're still planning it, but it'll have deliveries carried out by drones. So a drone will literally go from like an Amazon plant to your house, or make certain stops everywhere. So yes, change happens everywhere, and a company's inability to change can lead them to failure. So we need to keep in mind that change is an inevitable factor in today's organizational environment. Adaptivity is key.